Good evening, Facebook Nation, and welcome to yet another episode of Did You Hire Him Dead or Kill Him After You Got Him? I am your host, Anthony Santangelo, National Sales Recruiter and Trainer for AutoMaxx Recruiting and Training. I'll tell you, Facebook Nation, I have an announcement to make here. I'm in love. I'm absolutely in love. I'm in love with the state of California. I love it out here. I really do. Here I am in California. I'm really enjoying my time out here. I'm out here for a whole other week with our dealer client, and a couple days after that, in between going to Texas to be able to speak at the El Paso New Car Dealers Association on recruiting, retaining women in the car industry. But I'm absolutely in love with this area. Really starting to maybe consider that. We will see, but I'm really enjoying it out here. Just an awesome place. So, and I have an amazing guest that I'm going to bring on here in about a few minutes here. But he absolutely is amazing. His knowledge, his experience, his spirits is definitely in the right direction. And you're not only going to get some car business knowledge tonight, you're going to get some life knowledge tonight, some spiritual knowledge tonight from this man as well. But before we bring him on, and again, please hit the share button. As my friend Marcus Stone would say, Hulk smash the share button for us, please. So I want to talk to you guys about capturing your audience. Are you guys capturing your audience? Now, I'm not just talking about somebody that has a Facebook show. I'm talking about in general. Are you capturing your audience as a salesperson? Who's your audience? Your customers. Are you earning them for life? Are you capturing your audience if you sell brown bag cookies like my friend Lisa Velasco does? Is she capturing her audience for those that buy her cookies in schools and different organizations? Are you capturing your audience if you're a trainer? Who's your audience? General managers and dealers and decision makers. Are you capturing your audience, whatever it is you're doing? Now, how do you do that? How do you capture your audience? Well, let me tell you, I was interviewing an applicant today, and not a lot of times, but sometimes an applicant likes to go off the beaten path a little bit. They start sharing their life story and they get a little too crazy. And I got to put the fishing rod out and kind of wheel them in a little bit, get them tight in, and say, let's focus back on what you're here for. But today I had an applicant I interviewed, and they were so passionate and so caring. I let them go off the beaten path a little bit. I gave them a little bit of leadway. That I did, because the confidence and the excitement and the person, they brought their personal life a little bit into the interview, which was fine, but just the excitement and listen, I know I can do this, I believe in myself, this is what I want to do, just very definitive with that. Bottom line. And I said to them at the end of the interview, I said, you know how to capture an audience, and your audience this afternoon was me making a decision I'm going to invite you to our training class or not. And you captured your audience, me. And then as I'm saying that, I was capturing their audience as well. So that's what you want to do. You want to capture your audience. Now, how do you do that? The way you do that is you become obviously the best version of yourself, but you focus on your strengths and what you have. So for me, how do I capture my audience? Why do you guys tune in and week out and you follow my post and you follow me on Facebook? Because I'm the most real person you'll ever freaking meet in your life. That's what I focus on. That's my strength. I lead with my heart. I care. I'm efficient. That's what I do. So what is it for you that you're going to capture your audience? We had a conference call today for AutoMaxx conference call, and we talked about some prospecting, different things, and we talked about how you're going to do that. And one of our trainers served our country, and we encouraged him, you should be capturing your audience, talking about how you served our country and to go in that route and bringing value in and having other veterans do business with you, which is an important thing. Those things are so pivotal if you want to positively impact lives and you want to be successful in business, because yes, we all have bills to pay. Yes or no? Say yes. So that's what I want to share with you guys here before I brought Joe Cala on, because that's the whole key. Captivating your audience. Let that kind of sink in a little bit here. And without further ado, I've already taken 3 minutes of this man's time, and we're going to bring him on. He is the legendary, amazing, hit the share button for this man, because he absolutely is tremendous, Mr. Joe Cala.
What's up,
dude?
How you doing, buddy?
Man.
Good to see
buddy,
you.
I am living the dream. I'm California dreaming on such a summer's day. I absolutely am. I'm wearing the mamas and the papas. I feel good. I'll tell you, I might sing some Beach Boys this week at karaoke. We'll see. I got to find a place to sing out here. We'll see what happens. So.
Oh my God, that's great. I love it.
I am excited. I very much am. Joe, thank you so much again for taking the time in your busy schedule. You're traveling between South Carolina and Florida, raising your family, doing stuff with David Villa, just doing all these things, speaking in church, you're like a pastor Cala, and all these things that you do. And you took time for us tonight and for our audience. And I'm very, very grateful and appreciative of that. So
Well,
thank you
thank
so much, my friend.
you, Anthony. You're welcome, and thank you for having me. I've watched your show many, many times. I know you personally. I love your heart. I love what you do. I love what you represent, and I love your care for the people of our community as far as the industry goes in the auto industry. But I just love the way you really invest everything you have into what you do, and that is, into the people that you train and that you invest into and pour into. And the thing I think I love most about you is that you're a learner. We could only, I heard somebody say once before, but well, actually, this is a prayer I pray sometimes too, and that is, Lord, fill me up so that I can then be poured out on someone else. And you are one to fill up with continual education, learning, continuing to sharpen your sword, your skill set, so you can add value to people. And I love that about you. And so just want you to know that. And I'm a fan, brother. I'm a fan.
Well, thank you, my brother. I'm a big fan of yours as well, and it was great to meet you last October, the event we were at. And we're all we all need to improve,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I've been learning because I make mistakes and I grow, and I have it on the bottom of my business cards: learn, develop, grow, and teach. But you
Yeah.
don't sit teaching; you keep learning, and it's important to do that to give back. And
Yeah.
it's awesome when you have a good tribe of people. I was texting with Michelle McLean Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And first thing in the morning, we're going back and forth, and Michelle's your fellow South Carolina resident, and
Yeah.
she was just challenging. Michelle, there's only one other person in this world that I know has just as big as a heart as Michelle McLean does, and she was just challenging me to go back to my spiritual roots a little bit, Joe, about and saying, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And the
Right.
key to that is like you have to learn and grow. Even Jesus learned to go and he went to God. It's like, God, what do I do a little bit? And
Yeah.
you need that direction. And then have that right tribe together, it helps you grow. But then you don't just hoard it like the parable of the talents, right? You give back. You give back to everybody, and it's like you do that, be the best version, and then you impact lives. And that's just remarkable. You don't have to be in a steeple of a church. Your church could be a car dealership when it comes to impacting lives, whatever it may be on it. So it's exciting on it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you for the words, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm just going to share it to a couple groups here. Just bear with me one quick second.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just first say hello to the people that are on with us here. I see we got Larry Plummer,
Yep.
Lisa Velasco, Melissa Gomez, Billy Mish, Heather Fry, Mike Thompson, Velco's on, Leanne,
Go.
Timothy Grant, my wife Shauna, Dana. I mean, we got a lot of people on here. It seems like that are jumping on. That's great. But what you said too is that Jesus grew in wisdom and in knowledge, the scripture says.
Mm-hmm.
And the shirt I'm wearing actually is from my church. Let me see if I can get it here. Connected people, captivated by Christ, changed lives are changing lives. And so I
Love
think
it. Nice.
and you talked about captivated, and I think that's a key. Captivated by Christ, and that's true. I mean, I think that it's like you said. I mean, coming to a place where you can be captivated to the point of where what you're seeing is impacting now what you end up doing. And when we allow ourselves to be in a place, like you said, with your tribe and the surroundings of who we hang with, we become like that. It rubs off on us, and guilty by association, right? The scripture talks about how in the book of Acts, the apostles went out and they recognized that they were with Jesus and that they did things that Jesus did. And the scripture says that they turned the world upside down. Just a few people, just a group of people that were captivated by Christ and that were able to go out now because of what they saw. They became what they beheld. You know, I mean, the scripture talks about you become what you behold. And so that's why it's important to what you allow yourself to keep your eyes on, what you look at, what you're a part of, what you surround yourself. That's why it's important to what you watch and what you see and what you take in business, in faith, in life. It all interconnects and moves into what we do and who we are.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. My late mother, Donna Santangelo, used to always say, Anthony, if everything's right this way, everything's right that way. She'd always say, which obviously is a spiritual term on that. So, well, Joe, before we get into that young little Joey Cala that grew up in New Jersey, first thing I want to say is everybody on here, obviously hit the share button, please. But also, I want everyone on here to wish Leanne Rhinesmith a very happy early birthday. Tomorrow's her birthday. She's always holding the VIP door open and giving to everybody else. So please, she's on here. Everyone wish Leanne a very happy birthday for tomorrow and give her some respect because she's always giving back. So let's give back to her a little bit. Just want to give back to her because she absolutely deserves that. So Leanne, happy early birthday. Thank you so much for everything you do. You definitely are adopted auto family. You absolutely are on it. So let's get into the real life, the little boy, Joey Cala, grew up in New Jersey, and why don't you take it from there, my friend?
Well, I was born in Englewood, New Jersey, lived up in New Jersey pretty much almost my whole life. I lived in the other only places I lived besides New Jersey. I currently live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Been there since actually for 3 years now, since 2016. But I also had 4 years of my life in Oklahoma. I went to school there. I went to Bible school out there.
Okay.
And so did my wife. And so we had lived out there for 4 years. That was definitely different. That was definitely an experience. I got in the car business my senior year of high school. I was actually detailing cars my senior year. I had a wrestling scholarship that I did not take. I passed on it. And it was simply because I knew that I was not focused. I knew I would probably end up doing not that great in school. I wasn't focused with school. It wasn't really my priority. So my senior year, right before about two months or so before I graduated, I walked up from the detail department to the front desk, asked the general sales manager and the general manager if I can sell cars. I was 18 years old. I started selling cars at 18 years old in New Jersey at Ocean Chevy Geo Jeep Eagle. So I was selling Chevy
Eagle Talons, yeah.
And the Geo Prisms, the Eagle Talons, the Eagle Summits, Eagle Visions, Geo Trackers. I mean, back in the day, Anthony, so I started in the business then, and when I continued, it was a crazy business back in 1993 to 1996. I was there 3 years selling cars. 18, 19, 20, living at home, making really good money, and getting a little bit crazy. I ended up having an uncle that ended up going to prison, and in prison he found Jesus, and he started to send me letters about Christ and about scriptures and about all this stuff about God. And so as a Catholic New Jersey Italian, basically what I did was I took the prayer that he sent me and said it every day. I made a copy of it, put it underneath my blotter at work at the dealership. I would hold that up every morning underneath my calendar, and I'd pray the prayer, asking the Lord Jesus to be my Savior every single day. And things started changing in my heart, and he got out of jail and started taking me to the church that he attended. And at that point, made a decision that I was going to follow Jesus and become a follower of Christ. And then I also realized at that point that God had his hand on me to do more with ministry. And so I went to Bible school. I went out to Oklahoma, left the car business I thought.
You were 21 then, Joe?
And that was in 1997.
So you were 22 then, I guess, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So in 1997, I went to Bible school and graduated, came back, got connected into my church, was the youth pastor and associate pastor, met my wife. And then from there, we got married, and then she moved. We went out and we moved to Oklahoma again for her to go to Bible school after she graduated from Monmouth University. And so got back into the car business then in 2006 and worked for Mr. Nelson, who was a believer in Christ as well. The actual name of the dealership, it was Nelson Mazda and Nelson Nissan. And their tagline was, "We'll make a believer out of you." And so it was always, it was just always. So I come in now, and this is an owner of 4 dealerships, very strong believer in Christ. The guy took me under his wing, showed me how to do the business right, and promoted me to a manager, and we started to have good success. After she graduated, we moved back to New Jersey, connected with Penske Automotive Group, and became a manager at the Toyota store there for close to 7 years, and then ventured into the vendor side for about a couple of years, and then ended up coming back to Penske for another 2 years approximately. Then we decided we were done with paying all the stupid tax of New Jersey. I was driving in and out of Jersey City from Toms River every day, so I was paying $320 a month in tolls. And
the reason why I live in Pennsylvania instead of Jersey, you know.
I was gonna say, so it was crazy, Anthony, and it was just starting to wear on me a little bit. I was working for Penske. We actually were part of 3 stores that I was the BDC director over Hudson, Toyota, Nissan, and Chrysler Jeep Dodge. And in doing so, we were doing some amazing numbers. We were between the 3 stores pushing over 1,000 units a month out of there. The Toyota store alone was doing 1,000 out of there alone. With when you put their fleet business and you put some wholesale and things like that. But it was just a really good experience. It was the #1 most profitable Toyota store, and total out of all stores, it was the #1 store in Penske Automotive Group profitability. #1 Toyota store in the region, New York region. And it was great. It was a great experience, having to work for a beast like that, And then, like I said, we moved to, at that point, we realized we want to go ahead and get rid of the New Jersey life. And we vacationed down in Myrtle Beach every year up to, for about 10 years. And we decided that, we're going to go down and let's go see what it looks like to live there, not just vacation there. And then we started to see what the taxes would cost compared to what we were paying, and just overall the sun being more apart. It's just warmer, 70 degrees on average year round. We get 4 seasons, but just great weather. It'll get cold and stuff, and we have hurricane season too. But ultimately, we're like, I think this is good, and we made the move and. August of 2016. And so since then, connected down there with Sparks Toyota, was there for a year and a half, and then ventured out and began to do some training on my own, and then came and joined forces with where I'm at now with David Villa and Imperial Prep Direct, which actually is Auto Dealer University, is a standalone company now. We started to go in that vein back in the August of last year as we joined together. Since then, it wasn't just it's not just a division any longer. we've been going out myself and reaching out to dealers and landing dealers every week, every month, and growing this thing. It's got legs, it's standing, it's running now. And now we have 8 employees for Auto Dealer University specifically, and it's a standalone company. So providing training and for dealers across the country and into Canada.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of info there they have there. First thing I want to talk about is the tolls with New Jersey. I just finished my financial.
You got tolls is everything you caught from that entire.
No, that's the first thing. I didn't say it was the only thing. It was the first thing I said.
Gotcha.
The reason why I went to the tolls first is because it's fresh on my mind. Because I just finished my financial statement for July, and I was in Long Island last week. $56.75 in tolls round trip.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yes, tolls definitely. They I'm going to keep it clean, for you tonight. If they kick your bottom, we'll say, bottom.
You're right. I remember, man. Every time I go to New Jersey, I'm thinking, great, here we go again. We have to. Do we have change? Anybody have change? And pretty much now they're stopping. Like, some of them, they don't even have people. They gave up on people. They gave up on humans. They're like, we're done with you. All we have now is an easy pass, and that's it. We don't even have a human there anymore. So,
a lot of people don't know this, but when I was 18, before I went into construction and failed, I went to a mission school in Hamilton, not Hamilton, Hamilton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
It was called Life Mission Training Center. And I still relate to some of the people down there. Every once in a while I stop and say hello to them. But there was a 75-cent toll getting off exit 28 for Hamilton off the of 42, the Lansing Expressway. And so we would hop out. And it was funny because I actually had dinner with my childhood friend, Mike Cala last night, who lives out here in California. I haven't seen him in about 8, 9, 10 years, but we know each other for 37 plus years. We went to the school together, and we'd hop out and look for the quarters everywhere and try to get a couple bucks, type of thing. We're missing, it was before the days of the Easy Pass, type of thing. This was in 95. This was 95, 96.
Oh yeah.
But so anyway, let's move into. I just wanted to touch base with the toll thing. But obviously, you came full circle there. When you went to Bible school, your uncle led you to Christ, which is an awesome thing. And obviously, he had a transformation in his life, going from obviously being present to doing that, which is awesome. But it's so, and then you met your wife in Bible school, and then she went to Bible school.
I met her at church.
Church. Okay. Yeah. And then she completed Monmouth University, which is in New Jersey, right?
Yes, New Jersey.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Then you went back to Oklahoma. So she went to Bible school as well. Yeah. So let's talk about the dynamic. You started in the car industry in '93, which was 4 years before I started. I started in '97.
Okay.
With it, so that era in the '90s obviously was a certain. I always call that right at the end of the, if you will, slime bag era of the car industry. That plaid suit, used cars, suckers, the movie Suckers, type of car business. So it was right at the end. So you entered into that.
Let me tell you this about that. So I worked at Ocean Chevy Jeep Eagle, and that was I forget the name. I think it was Tedesco was the owner of it.
Okay.
But Mike Mafucci owned the store next to us, and Cala was the desk manager. Perillo was the GM. I mean, so listen to these words. Listen to all these names.
Right. Are you picking up on this Facebook Nation?
Santangelo, do you hear what I'm saying?
I get it. I want to know if my audience picks up on it, though. Exactly. Every name there, it ends in one type of letter. What is it, Facebook Nation? It starts with a V, a vowel.
That's right. Dude, it was like a witness protection program. That's where I was living. I mean, I felt like every one of these guys were made at one point, and they're stuck there. Okay, so it was crazy. The things that I saw, I can't even mention some of them. I can talk to you about it offline, but
right
of the industry. And I'll tell you, that's why I left it. I thought in '96 because it was so nuts, and the whack tarts that were a part of it, the craziness that was part of it. It was just crazy, and the things that would happen in the dealership on test drives and all these different stuff. It's just crazy. So going further, I left, I thought, 96. That's why when I said I came back to the business, when my wife went to Bible school, and I ended up getting connected with Mr. Nelson. The guy took me under his wing, showed me how to do the business the right way as a believer and as, again, a man of integrity. And so, it really made a huge swing to me in how business was in the auto industry from 93 to 96, and then how it was after that when I got back into it in the early 2000 era.
Absolutely. It was a huge difference. And that's where I was going with that, selling cars in New Jersey and North Jersey, in that area versus Oklahoma, with it. The first time you were in Oklahoma, you were not selling cars. You were in Bible school, correct? Right.
Yeah.
But the second time you were selling cars as your wife was in Bible school in Oklahoma. That's
I was supporting her. We were, going out there, and I was working to provide and pay for our mortgage and everything. We built a house while we were out there and everything as well.
So and that was 2006 at that point, right, Joe?
2004.
2004. Okay. Yeah. 2004. So you had a little bit of a roughly an 8-year hiatus between the two. So when you came out there at Oklahoma, how was the adjustment for you, being a North Jersey guy, being an Italian guy, forget about it, The Sopranos, type of thing, with that. And obviously the Sopranos were going on back then, type of thing as well.
They were a witness protection program. Again, they said that. They're like, look, I walked out. I wear like the guinea tee underneath. I walk outside, my hair's slicked back. I'm the Italian guy. They're like, is there gonna be a guy that shows up with a white suit and a white tie trying to stuff you out? I'm like, no, dude, I'm here for Bible school.
Right.
I promise. I'm here.
Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. That's definitely a good front. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you ever seen the movie? Not the one with Sinatra, but the one with Steve Martin. Yeah,
man. That's exactly what it was.
I'm trying to speak an anecdote here,
Yeah.
But that's how it was. So you went there. So you met Mr. Nelson, obviously, who believes in the Lord as a Christian, and so you went that route. So that helped with a little bit. But how was your transition, Joe, from the North Jersey Italian side?
Yeah.
And North Jersey's kind of more like New York. South Jersey's more like where I'm from, Philly. And we have that chip on our shoulder. We definitely do in the Philadelphia, South Jersey, North Jersey, New York type area. Now, when you make that adjustment to kind of Oklahoma, was that hard for you to kind of adjust to the clientele and the difference there?
It wasn't. Not for me. I feel like I can be a chameleon pretty good. And being that I lived out there for 2 years prior, and I've had some interaction with people that were there in between as well, I feel like I was able to understand the culture a little bit because I lived there for a couple of years once before. And there's a big mix out there too. And you do have your, you do have, the people that are born and raised there, but there was a big mix in the Tulsa area, Broken Arrow, where I lived, and where we were actually working, that you had a lot of people from around the world, because there was a lot of world type of schools out there, OU, Oklahoma University, but my Bible school that I went to, Raymond Bible College, and then Oral Roberts University was out there too. And so you have a lot of people coming from areas that were from different locations of the world, not just the country. It was pretty neat. It was cool, and I think it was a good. There are some things I slowed myself down. I remember I was told, "Slow down, son. You're talking way too fast," and that was because of my fast-paced, northern, Yankee mentality, and so I did slow myself down. I started to learn how to adjust and become that mirror of what I was talking to, and depended who I was talking to. Sometimes I get a Jersey or New Yorker, and it'd pull out of me real fast, and then you get the guys and gals and the people that are talking from the country, and they say, just say water one more time, you know. And so, oh yeah, you're from Jersey. I'm like, no, I'm
Right.
not from Jersey. It's New Jersey. Nobody says Jersey.
I say it.
It's just different, So
Well, it's Mickey from Rocky. You should pumping gas in Jersey Rock.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was good though. It wasn't bad. It was a good. I felt like I was a little bit. I felt like I was accepted good, and I didn't really ever have that because I didn't make myself. I'm the Jersey guy. And I was like making my Jersey routes, and I'm from New Jersey. This is who I am. And I didn't do any of that. I went out there and did what I had to do. So
Stan shares on here now. Speaking of New Jersey.
What's up, Stan?
And Stan's like, he says, laugh out loud. I was getting that a lot. That happened to me when, what is it? When I left Jersey for Florida. And Stan said, I moved off of Jersey, obviously.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, it definitely makes a difference.
It very much does. You know who Jeffrey Gittimer is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Gittimer's wife is Jennifer Kleckow, which I have her book here, Sales in New York Minute. I had Jeffrey and Jennifer on in June for this show. So they're acquaintances of mine. And Jen put something on there because they've been living in Charlotte, North Carolina for quite a while.
Okay.
And I put on there, I said, you can't take the New York out of the girl in any type of New York Minute, which is her thing. She sells the New York Minute type of thing.
Yeah.
It's very true. You can't take the Jersey out of the Jersey guy, Jersey girl, New York, Philly, whatever it is. It's like wherever you're at, like you still have that, but it's important. But as you noticed, and back then, I guess the cool term back then wasn't slow your roll, but you would learn to slow your roll. And I teach this in my training for AutoMaxx about slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
And during the East Coast, we're always so impatient. We want things done now. Where I find myself, I'm in California this week, whole different area. My first interview of the day, I immediately knew I had to make an adjustment in the way I was, my personality. So you tone it down. When I'm in Tennessee, I've been very blessed that myself and AutoMaxx have a lot of success in Tennessee. And I'm a little different. Now, I'm in Long Island last week. That's different. Then it comes out of me. It's a little bit more of a natural type thing, So it's important to be able to understand that and understand your customer base.
Yes.
When it comes to that. So you made an easy adaptation to that. Now, let me ask you this, Joe. Do you feel that you adapted to that a little bit more efficiently because of the culture that Mr. Nelson brought in your Mazda Nissan store in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I listened. I believe that the culture was it was a very good culture because it was a leadership culture. It was a servant culture as well. And so because of that, it was a real service and servant minded culture. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, we had a culture of constantly serving the customer. And it wasn't, we weren't selling, we were serving. And I think that was the key, is that it really spoke to, and again, it spoke to not only my belief system. We would pray as a group. We would come together. We would have time that we would obviously do sales training, and then we would also do, scripture. We would have, Bible study in the dealership. So, but at the same time, it created a culture and allowed for us to really bond together and connect with each other. And I have friends to this day that I've made since, from 15 years because of it. And just, that we still talk to. And, but yeah, it did help. It did. It really did help. But it's also, it's a willingness to make the adjustment on my own for the betterment of the people I'm around, not just because I want to or don't want to. It's like anything, like probably when I'm done with this, I'm going to go down to the gym, because that's what I do when I travel. I go to the gym because I'm a loser. No, I'm only kidding. I have nothing else to do. So I'll go to the gym and I'll go down there for
karaoke.
Yeah. So I'll go down there and I'll go to the gym, but it's not because I really want to. It's because I'm disciplining myself to do it so that I can make sure that I'm taking care of myself in a little bit better way, because it can be very easy to just be, go sit on the bed or do nothing, and instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself do something, not because I want to do it, but because of the benefit and the result of it. And in order for me to be able to succeed in my business, I do it for the benefit and the result of it. And you lift weights for the benefit and the result of it. You do cardio for the benefit and the result of it. We take care of the certain way that we do business for the benefit and the result of the paycheck or whatever it may be, and the customer service and the referrals and the repeat business and the investment into the people to see them grow and change and have a better life for themselves also. So that's why. And I think that also it's a number of things, not one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's important to do that. And then I forget who wrote the book, but it's a spiritual book, The Disciplines of the Inner Life. And I forget who wrote it, but that's something that in my background that I was given when I was 18, 19 years old, with that. So let's go back a little bit. You had Bible study in the dealership. Now, not every dealership is going to have that. Most won't. I get that. But what are some of the best practices, Joe? And not necessarily the spiritual side, which is important, but what are some good practices? Because the big key there is you guys showed synergy and camaraderie in your store. So we talk about this with AutoMaxx in our training. The total is greater than the sum of its individual parts. We're always challenging us. Ernie and Joe. Ernie is the general manager, minority owner of AutoMaxx. Joe Lockhart, minority owner and operations director, and Craig's son, are always challenging us in our conference calls to display synergy with one another, to have that fortified front where we all support each other, which helps us on it. What are some best practices that you would suggest to dealers, to owners, GMs, managers, that they could implement in the store? Not necessarily the spiritual side, because some might not feel comfortable doing that, and that's okay. But to have that energy in your store, which will come across to their clients, the customers buying the cars, which will crush their 120, 140% of their objective every month. And obviously, we're in a results-oriented business. What advice would you have for that, Joe?
I think a daily meeting is important, and I say not just a meeting, not a beat up session. It's not a browbeat session. It's not a you guys suck session. It's not anything that says we should do better session only. Yes, you do house cleaning or housekeeping. Yes, you do. Go through some of the things that may have happened the day before and look, adjustments and tweaks. And this is some things that we've noticed. Let's stay on top of this. But you cut up a little bit. You have a session where before you're getting there is that couple things, the guys are hitting around, they're talking, they're joking, they're making, whatever. Having that session to be able to come together. Hey guys, just before we get started, anybody want to share anything? You have anything? Because I'm going to do it before we get into what I'm going to say, so I can let them be a part of it. And sometimes it can be also, that could be the meeting, is them bringing up stuff. I'm not holding the meeting. It's we're all coming together because we're a team. We're working together. We're with them more than we are our loved ones, our family many times. So we want to make sure that we're being, again, communication is very important to the success of the culture. Sometimes it could be lack of communication. Sometimes it could be too much communication. We're having a meeting every 3 hours. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, beginning of the day, middle, and the end. No, that's too much. I mean, you want to have, sometimes, and then there's that, you want to get the balance. But I think having a meeting or a session of training that's implemented amongst them to help give them the ability to share, contribute, and then learn. And I think that's what will help.
Now, right there with some major nuggets right there, Facebook Nation. I have Joe Cala with me. Hit the share button, please. Hulk smash that share button, because what he just said there were absolutely was phenomenal. Because what you're taking, to use the church term, the small group session, which is more of a spiritual term, your small group, but then you are giving back, letting them provide the information to you first. Hey, what's on your mind? Type of thing. You guys come first, And that's the whole key. That's the true definition of servanthood leadership, as you are, because you are a servant leader, you very much are. With that you say, listen, you come to me and tell me what's going on. I want to listen to you. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use it proportionally, right? And it's important to do that because now they feel engaged with it. So when they do that, they're going to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, after that point, because they're going to be able to receive from you. My mom was a devout Christian. And I guess she's on my mind a little bit more tonight because Sunday was the 25th anniversary of her death. Yeah. And, for Donna, she used to say to me, I only had her 17 years. And, and she said to me, Anthony, you're not going to receive from everybody the same way. And I've always remembered that, and it's true. And the people that I've received the most from my life is the people that showed me that they cared about me more as a person than as production. And that's what you're implementing there and what you talked about with the employee culture, which is so key and pivotal to do that. Because now, tell me if I'm wrong, Joe, but you can do that, and then you can, to a certain extent, earn the right to speak into your employees' lives on one-on-one sessions to help them overcome what they're going through. Because a lot of times, as a manager, it's not about just trying to work deals and make the production. It's pulling them aside and say, what's going on outside the walls of the dealership? I care about you more as a person than as production. And when you do that, the production will come. With that. When you were a manager in the store, Joe, were you able to do that in the different roles in the stores that you were managing?
Yes. So I would many times, and I still have people that I was working with that I managed that are still, that I'm not working with, but they still reach out to me. They still connect to me. I remember I actually said to, first and foremost, when I would come into a store as a manager, my number one role is to first remove any obstacles that are causing these people to feel like that they can't do their job. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I would do is okay, well, what are some things that you guys are going through that you feel like it's kind of just holding you back from performing at your top level? And it may be something that's so stupid and silly to me, but it's a huge difference in world to them. And that's the one thing. So my thing that I typically would do is I would remove those obstacles like that. What's going on? What is it that's going? And if it was something that wasn't like, oh yeah, well, I hate the general manager. If it wasn't like that, okay, look, I can't do anything about that. The general manager is the general manager. You need to adjust. At the end of the day, that's the person that's your and mine. Our boss. So whether you like him or not, you do what you got to do. But if there's things like I can't, every time I press this, it disappears. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Let's call up the CRM company and figure it out. Every time, I would have 100 to-dos that are in there, and then they just disappear by 9 o'clock in the morning. What happened? Well, there was something set up in the rules or business rules that was, because we decided to figure it out immediately, fixed it. Oh my God, I've been asking about this for 5 months. You came in one day and fixed it. That's great. I said, well, good. And I get everybody saying, wow, thank you. That's awesome. You're great. I said, well, good. I hope you remember. Let's video this. I hope you remember this because there's going to be a day where I do something that you're not going to be happy about. But here's one thing. Here's one thing that I realized. If I can help them with removing something out of their life that was a pain for them or that was interrupting or holding them, what they thought was holding them back, then when it comes time for me to ask them to do something that necessarily they wouldn't want to do, they do it more freely now because I'm there in their corner. They know I'm fighting for them. They know I'm working for them. Now, when I do that and I say, guys, we need to do this and push, they push not just for the sake of themselves, which even though that's a huge motivator, is themselves, their family, their why, whatever, but now because Joe's asking us.
Right.
And it makes a difference.
It absolutely does. And the best thing you can give someone is your time. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I think salespeople complain about. Hey, I'm left in the dark. Again, I mean, it's the name of the show.
Yeah.
Did you hire them? No. When I left on Friday or Saturday, they were alive. Yeah. Did you got them? Well, own it. I mean, I mean, sometimes it happens, but if you give them that time where you have somebody, that's real stuff right there. You said, Joe, I've been asking about this for 5 months and I've been blown off, but all of a sudden you got to it and you didn't just get to it in days, you got to it immediately. And that's the key.
Right.
So now the emotional deposit that you put into the relationship. That's
Yeah.
what's so important to be able to do that, to give someone your time. I had someone message me tonight, awesome person, and the person had said that they felt like they weren't being given the time in a certain relationship, and my heart broke when I heard it. And I was like, oh, I felt so bad for the person because it's like those things are just difficult to do that when you feel that you're lost in Never Land and you don't have that time. How you can get production out of it, that's just truly remarkable, and it's just
And
got
I would pull. There was times where I remember I said to this one kid, Anthony. His name was Anthony Fonseca. He was he actually was working with me at the Toyota store. A young kid. He reminded me of me. I said to him, I looked at him. I said, Anthony, I said, one day you're not going to be here. And I'm not talking about dying. I'm not talking about you're going to die. I'm talking about you're not going to be working here, or I'm not going to be working here. I don't just do and say what I do and say for the sake of doing it and saying it. I'm investing something into you that you're going to be able to take with you, whether you work here or you work somewhere else.
yeah.
My goal in life, Anthony, is I want to make sure that I'm adding value to you and helping you in life, not just in business.
Yeah.
This same kid that would come to me and I would look and see something's not right. I'm like, dude, I'd pull him aside and say, brother, you all right? And he'd like, no, man, I'm not. And he was like in tears. He said, can we go out and talk? And yeah, went outside, talked, and he cried and shared that. I mean, I could cry thinking about it. That he was going through, that I was able to go ahead and talk to him about. And this was a guy, like I said, a guy that I worked with back in New Jersey. There's just time and time again that I think that when you help people understand and impact and touch their heart, they see if you really care, and knowing that you really do, it brings them to a new level of respect, and it helps them work more for you, not just with you. You know what I mean? They're not just in the same spot and same place. They're actually working because they want to work with you and they like working with you. And as well as I know, in Gallup polls it says that 75% of employees end up quitting their place of employment because of their managers many times, and it's because you have those managers that are just performance driven. That's all they care about. What can you do for me? And if you can't do it, then I don't care about you. And I get it. We are performance-based, industry, and I'm okay with that. And eventually, sometimes you have to cut ties because maybe it's not the best fit for somebody or they're not performing. But at the same time, and this is one of the things that I read from the 1 Minute Manager. You ever read that?
Yes.
It said the goal is not to kill the employee, and this goes back to what you're saying here. It's to, especially when it comes to dealing with people who may be doing things that aren't correct or aren't right. So in that moment of going through and helping them improve or get through whatever it is that they're doing, the purpose is to stop the habit and keep the employee, not kill them both. You know what I'm saying? So many times we just because it's a behavior thing. It's about just stopping the bad behavior, but keeping the employee because they're a good person or they're a good employee. Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely makes sense. It's you're coaching them, you're helping them along the way, and you have to look for reasons to help that person. I mean, show them that you care. Here's a perfect example of this. I'll give you two examples. I was in Virginia 3 weeks ago. Had a very large class for Doug Stahl. You know Doug, right? Doug Boom Stahl, right?
Yes.
Great guy from Malloy Chevy Cadillac. Wonderful class. So my second day of training, everybody shows up. Everybody all in? Great. So I have them do a certain exercise. Go around. You all in? You with this? You ready for this? You're going to get hired? Blah, blah. And I get to one person. You all in? He's like, well, I'm not. I said, what's going on? And he said it right in front of class. We had the conversation with him in class. And I said to him, I said, you want to finish this one-on-one? He said, yeah. He was torn between being a private investigator and being in car sales.
Huh.
And he said to me, he goes, Anthony, I showed up today because I didn't want to disappoint you because I see how much you put into the class. You taught me life lessons yesterday. And I talked to him and I said, well, where's your heart? Because you're not disappointing me. If you no showed and didn't call me, that would disappoint me. But the fact that you came in and talked to me, like, that's the Italian way, right? And then the kid was a
Yeah.
Metagon. He wasn't Italian, he's Metagon. But, and I said, don't disappoint me at all. What's best for you and you feel is the best thing? He said, I really feel this private investigator thing would be better for me. I said, well, then that's okay. I'm going to dismiss you and you do that. But here's my business card. And you reach out to me. I'll help you any way possible. It's like it's just so care. So you have that where it's like you develop that because of life lessons. We teach life lessons in AutoMaxx. Auto Dealer Live and Auto Dealer University is life lessons that Joe and David teach. That's what it's about. And I had somebody in Idaho 3 weeks ago. She no showed for interview, and you just go back to the point you said before. Sometimes the stupidest thing can how can I say it politically correct? Can mess with our minds
Yes.
in a way that can stop us from achieving our goals and talents and unleashing our inner greatness.
Yeah.
And she no showed for the interview. I call her from my cell phone, pick up and hang up. Call again, pick up and hang up. Call again, pick up and hang up. She doesn't know who I am. It wasn't like it was a hello or anything. I was like, what in the world's going on here? So I called from the landline. Picks up from the landline. Hi, this is Anthony over here. I just called you 3 times. Oh my goodness, Anthony, I'm so sorry. I thought this was a telemarketer. No, but you were supposed to be here an hour ago for your interview. Are you coming? What's going on? And she said to me, she goes, Anthony, I don't have the proper attire to wear for an interview for the car business. So I felt like I just shouldn't go. And I said, so again, the smallest thing gets someone's mind. And I said to her, I said, what did girls say? Outfits, right? She goes, yeah. I said, you wear the best outfit in your closet. That's good enough for me. And she perked up the phone. She's like, really? I said, absolutely. I said, any chance you can bring a paper copy of your resume with you? I don't have a printer. Don't worry about it. We're good. I want to come and meet with you. Come on, meet with me. And she came in. The owner loved her. Joe, she sold her first car on Saturday, and she sent me she video timed me through Facebook Messenger. I was in the mall buying a pair of sneakers, and I stopped what I was doing, and we talked. And she goes, Anthony, I just sold my first car and everything. So it's like, are you want to do that when you're in a power position as a manager, as a trainer, as a pastor, as an elder, as a father, a husband, whatever you are? Are you looking for that to invest the time necessary to be with that person to become the best version of themselves? Because it'll come pay forward. And like you said, those people, Joe, that you mentored still reach out to you, and hopefully they're paying it forward to others as well, which is just, I find it just truly remarkable. So, Joe, I want to ask you, I want to get involved with Auto Dealer Live a little bit. I want you to promote that a little bit. Before I get into that, I do want to ask you a little bit of a controversial question. And if you don't want to answer, it's okay. And this might be the most controversial question that I've ever asked on any of my 44 episodes of this show, and it's this. Many of us believe in God. Many of us try to follow the Lord's ways at all different levels, and there's all different, gray areas when it comes to that. How do you feel about people that use their religion to try to get business? I'm not talking about letting people see your heart. Obviously, you're a believer in God, Joe. You go on Facebook Live for your church. Pastor Villa's like that as well, as I like to call him. But people try to take it to a degree and almost to try use it for a financial gain a little bit. And this is a little controversial. If you don't want to answer, it's okay. I'll put you on the spot here. But I mean, how do you feel about that? Some people do that, and I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on that.
I think that when you think about businesses or people that deceive for gain, that's something that you gotta. Again, that's some people. People are gonna do what they want to do. If they, it's like, why did somebody go in and shoot people up in El Paso?
Yeah.
Why did somebody do? Because people have a free will, and the thing about it is that people manipulate many times. People use certain things to, take from others to gain for themselves, and
Right.
sometimes that happens. So I think that happens in all businesses many times. So I'm not sure what's kind of causing the question, or if something happened or you saw something that maybe made you think of that question. But when it comes to, I guess, just people that may appear to be using their faith to generate income or money, I don't know the heart. God knows the heart of a person, and so I just pray that they get a change of heart one day, because I don't know their heart. I don't know, are they doing it for manipulative, evil, wrong? I can't tell that. I can see their actions. I can hear their words, and many times, like the scripture says, that you'll know them by their fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture also says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And it also says that, what you fill into your heart is also what will be an overflow into your life. And so it depends on how people live their life and what they do and put into themselves. And I think that can control or create a lifestyle that would, trigger them to do certain things. I don't know why people do that, um, or businesses have done that. But I don't know why also, lawyers have ripped people off. I don't know why, doctors had, some doctors who have malpractice. I don't know why some, ministries may do things in a not so, good way. And car business, car dealers. I mean, I can go through every single industry. There's always something in everything.
Yes.
That's out there. And so I think it's because we have a free will.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that's what people meditate on, and what they allow to be something that is an overflow in their life. That's why they do what they do.
I think that's a wonderful answer, Joe. It really is, and I'm very encouraged by that, because you're absolutely right. It's when people feel, I mean, the number one cause of death is heart attacks, right? And heart attacks are caused by stress. And what's stress caused by? Finances and romances, they say, right? And when people are feeling the financial stress,
It's real.
God gave us all free will. You have the choice. You could touch dishonest dollars and do something for financial gain, or you can just keep doing the right thing, even if it hurts, even with sacrifice. And for me, I wasn't always the nicest person when I sold cars for 19 plus years. I wore my emotions in my sleeve to a certain extent, in a bad way, where I would just get upset about things, but I didn't lie to people. And I never used my spiritual background, type of thing. I think it's important about it to tell people, and I've told people sometimes, hey, you know what? Hold off. You have 12 months left in your lease. You're paying $380 a month, and you're going to be at $650. Hang tight a little bit. I'm not looking at this lost business. You're just delayed business. So I'm going to do what's right for you, and I'm not going to try to close you on this deal with that, because I'm going to trust that if I do the right thing, I'll come back. Oh, that's okay. But I think the most important thing is, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, Joe, you're putting your head on the pillow at night, or you were answering at the gates, so to speak, when you pass. Are you doing the right thing, or are you trying to do things and manipulate people? There's somebody that I mentor, that's a friend of mine. They're in the real estate industry, and they approached me about 5 months ago, and she offered to pay me to her. And I said, no, I will help you for free. I said, I'm not going to do that. And she's the type of person that can fall a little bit in people manipulating all that. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to help you. You're my friend. I care about you. That's good enough. I don't need dollars and cents from that. And I just find that that's important with it. I'm happy I said this toward the end of our show here, is that just do the right thing. There's going to be days that you're going to kick the trash can, shed some tears the way that salesperson was with Joe. I've done both. And some of us dropping F-bombs left and right. It just happens in the car, in the street. There's those things will happen in the Corner Street. But the question is, are you willing to rise above it and just keep choosing to do what's right? Which goes back to my favorite television show, Blue Bloods. I don't know if you ever watched that show before, Joe, but there's a lot of good nuggets of knowledge in there, and it's doing what's right, even if it's hurt, doing what's right, even sacrifice on it. So, but that's just a wonderful answer there on it. So, I want you to talk about your business here, what you're doing in Florida with David Villa and Auto Dealer Live, and how tell people what you do and how they can reach you for the platforms you have there with Auto Dealer University.
Yep. So Auto Dealer University, we are a training company. We have 26 trainers on our platform, over 1,200 courses, automotive specific, as well as character building and characteristic based leadership, motivation, as well as faith based as well. But what we do is we come alongside dealers. We speak to business development, internet departments, sales departments, F&I. Digital marketing, traditional marketing, management training, phone training, effective lead handling, CRM, effective CRM use as well. And then we do training. We provide digital training, virtual training. We add 10 to 12 different courses and video content pieces in every single week. We're constantly adding fresh video. Fresh content. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we have 3-hour sessions that we're adding. We have fixed ops and the parts and service director of a guy that works with us in our Auto Dealer University. He's a sales professional. He was a fixed ops director in service and parts for 35 years in a store. So he's dropping fixed ops service advisor training tomorrow, as well as we're doing rapid fire objections, rebuttals, handling all that stuff as well. David Cribbs, which shout out to David, he's on here watching too, as well as myself. And then we also do with that. We also do these personalized sessions. We'll do like this morning we had Ford of West Memphis that was on a live stream with their entire sales team this morning. We talked about interview questions and vehicle selection, Cribbs and myself. Then we have a dealer that's signing up where we're going to be doing 2 on-site visits to do an entire between their 3 stores to do training amongst their management, sales team, and BDC and internet. So that's what we do. We empower dealers, we pour into them, we train them, and it's something that I think I remember you saying that hustle and grind is somebody asked you the question, well, when are they done? And you're like, they're never done. Right. They every single day. And the famous saying between Alan Rand, Brad Lee, and every other trainer out there that has used it is training isn't something that was done. It's something that we do. It's not something that you did. It's something that you do. And so we constantly train and pour into our people. And then we have Auto Dealer Live, David Villa. And I was actually out to dinner tonight, right before here, with David Blaisdell, General Manager of Operations at IPD, Imperial Press Direct, and also Chris Fritcher, who's also the founder of Auto Dealer Live with David Villa. And so we have been able to had some conversation there. But what they do is they have auto-specific Auto Dealer Live. It's about 7 years that this podcast has been going on Thursdays at 3:30 Eastern Time. Tune in. They get between 6,000 and 10,000 views a week. And depending on, obviously, this week's actually going to be all female automotive. I mean, Lisa Copeland's going to be, she's going to be with us. And so it's going to be pretty awesome. And so, we talk about, we have vice presidents of organizations, #1 dealers in the world, in the country, and, that are on our guest panels, and just great conversations, salespeople, internet, BDC, directors, all levels. I mean, it's just awesome. So that's what we do. You can find us on autodealeruniversity.com. You could also find us on and at Imperial Press Direct, IPD, as well, IPDagency.com. and that's how you can find us and what we do. I want to shout out Ron Boss, my brother in the
Yeah,
Lord.
I just hearted it on the thing here, but
Yeah.
I just hearted it because Ron's awesome. Another Christian guy, Spirit Chrysler in Sweetboro, New Jersey.
Great.
AutoMaxx client as
Yeah.
well, friend of Craig. Great man. Hopefully, Ron, at some point I have a chance to meet you, Ron. I only live an hour from you. At some point, I got to meet you. So I live an hour from Swedesboro. I need to get down and meet him. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Ron.
training there. He's a great guy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I
Welcome.
really appreciate it. And one thing I want to say, and I said this to Anthony Alagona when I had him on the show as well, because our dear friend Alagona, who's
great guy.
He's part of our tribe, definitely.
Oh yeah.
There's things that Anthony does, the services he offers the dealer that I do. There's services that you and David offer dealers that I do.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Because are we competitors? Technically, yes. But you give back and you promote each other.
That's right.
No thought of any reward. And that's the one thing I really love about having the privilege and honor to host this show and to represent Craig and Ernie and Joe and AutoMaxx and our awesome staff that we have. Mama Jane, our in-house recruiter, her daughter Danielle, our phenomenal, amazing controller, and Jody Atkins, all of the trainers, some of our new staff, new in-house recruiters that we've just hired recently. Just awesome people that to be able to give back to others and to just use my platform to give.
Hey, Craig.
That costs me money. No, it doesn't. Because I want Joe Cala to succeed. I want Auto Dealer University to succeed. I want David Villa to succeed. I want Anthony Algona to succeed. That's the key because we're a family.
That's right.
And that's important to do that. And when you do what's right, God will bless you in the long haul. I mean, he just will on it. So that's what I say. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Let me just put this out there to you too. Let's get you on Auto Dealer Live here one day, and we'll actually I'll connect you with Cribs and also maybe even Lou, who's the producer of the actual.
I know. Well, I actually was a guest on the show about 2 years ago.
Yeah. So
I was a guest on the show. Sometimes it's tough because you go live 3:30 Eastern time, and I'm usually teaching on Thursday.
Yeah.
With it, so it's a little bit tough sometimes to be able to do that. But I love to be a privilege and honor to get back again. And you guys have some awesome guests. I mean, obviously, you said Lisa Copeland, the president of our tribe, as I call her, is going to be on this Thursday. You've had my friend Marissa Monar on several times. She's been tremendous. Who else have you had on there? I think Matt Kane has been on there. Craig Lockhart's been on there. Obviously, founder and CEO of AutoMaxx Recruiting and Training. It's just it's an awesome show, and I catch it when I can. But usually I'm training, so I can't watch when I'm training. With it, so but I'm just a big supporter of the show. I always try to like and comment with that, and obviously I belong to both of your group. Life Sync, which is your group. I belong to David's Game Changer, Auto Dealer Live. I belong to all three of them. I highly recommend all of my audience to please join those three groups with it. So there are definitely some great nuggets there.
Thank you, Anthony.
So, Joe, thank you so much again. I appreciate you so much, your spirit. I learned so much from you. I have so much respect for you. You're a great family man. You're a good guy. I just, and Craig says it during the Recruiter podcast that we do, which is a long form live stream podcast. He says it jokingly, it's tongue in cheek, that him and Ernie and Joe do it selfishly because they get so much nuggets of knowledge. They had Nat Koenig on this week. We had Marcus Stone on the week before. All these good people, and it's like I feel that too. I get back to my audience, but I feel I have a chance to do this show remotely wherever I'm at in the whole country, and I get to have all this knowledge too, which is just so exciting on it. So,
awesome,
my brother, thank you so much. We got to see each other at some point soon and cross paths and break some bread. We got the bread because I'm on a diet, So.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever it is, even if it's just a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah, it's because the camaraderie and the just the nuggets of knowledge of things both inside and outside the walls of the dealership is well worth it. You're just a tremendous guy, and you were the true definition of what it means to be all in, my friend. And I just very much appreciate you so much, Joe.
Thank you, Anthony. I love you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Awesome. My pleasure, buddy. You have a good evening.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, there you have it, Facebook Nation. Another episode complete of the Jehiram Dead or Kill 'em After You Got 'em, episode 44. I just feel so blessed. And I want to go back again just briefly to what I talked about at the start of the episode here. Are you captive? Are you capturing your audience? How are you capturing your audience? I want you guys to think about that when you go to bed. It's 10 o'clock Eastern time out there, and I know I'm an hour later than normal because I'm in Pacific Standard Time this week in California. But are you captivating your audience? Are you being the best version of yourself? And are you using the gifts that God has given you to do that? Whatever that may be. Whatever that may be. Again, it could be that you serve their country and you have a passion for veterans. You could be a single mom that just generated tons of income in the car industry and turn their lives around. And now you want to give back to other single moms. One of our clients last week, I met her for the first time, general sales manager, and she told her story to the training class, and that was part of the story. With that, now her daughter is in a very, very expensive university in New York, and she could pay for it on her own, type of thing. So it's just all different things. If you're a trainer, or are you giving back as a salesperson? Are you captivating your audience, capturing your audience, and showing them? And the bottom line is, whatever you do and wherever you go, if you are true to yourself and you're real and you're authentic and you're willing to show people the real you and you're willing to take dollars and cents and put it to the side as a secondary motive and have your first motive that I am here to give back to others. I am here to positively impact lives and leave a legacy and to continue leaving that. And the people that went before us, our mentors, our loved ones, whoever it may be, and you have that in your heart and you're willing to show that and be real, you will be blessed in the long haul. And I hope all you guys take that just to heart this evening, something that's very big on my heart. I care about all you guys. For those out there that are going through some struggles right now, that have some loved ones that are just having some health issues, we're here for you. We love you. We're praying for you. Anything you need, we're here. For those who are struggling in the car industry, you're having a difficult month, you're having some struggles, whatever it is, we're here for you. Reach out to Joe Cala. He'll respond to you. Reach out to myself. We're here, and we're not going to do it for dollars and cents. We're going to do it to help you be the next person. But we would ask you that you take it to the next step and you pay it forward to others as well. And that's how you leave a legacy, and that's how you impact lives. That's why we're here. Until next week, Facebook Nation, a quick note. My show will be on Monday night next week, not Tuesday. I'll be flying on Tuesday to Texas to speak at the El Paso New Cars Dealers Association on recruiting and retaining women in the car industry. So I'll be doing my show next Monday evening, but it will be at 8 o'clock Eastern. I will be able to do it on my regular scheduled time. So until next week, Facebook Nation, go out there and positively impact someone's life and do it with no thought of any reward. I will talk to you soon. As always, go